So Derek Adams has been named as the new manager at Morecambe, and it was a surprise appointment, to be quite honest, was my first impression, because I do feel like Morecambe are punching above the weight a little bit here. I'm surprised that Adams has gone so low for his next job, given that Morecambe have never really been out of the bottom 6, bottom 8 of League 2 for a good number of years now. But the more I think about it, it does make sense from Adams' perspective. I think this is I don't think Morecambe are going to get relegated now that he's in charge. There's only one relegation place anyway in League 2 this season, so I'm sure that's possibly entered into his thinking. But I think Adams just basically backs himself to basically generate points from his own intelligence, his own tactical intelligence. He's he's a manager that changes system from week to week. I think he'll enjoy playing the underdog card at the Globe Arena, and his talent is in unearthing the weaknesses of opposition and exposing them in a tactical sense. And at Plymouth, that seemed to annoy people sometimes, in the sense that they never really got a philosophy. They never really had a set way of playing, and didn't necessarily identify with a certain style of play. They were always too concerned with the opposition, and that didn't always sit right with some Plymouth fans. But I think at Morecambe he's got full licence to do that. I think that basically Morecambe are quite rightly seen as underdogs at this level. There's a very low bar, which is not to undermine what a fantastic job Jim Bentley did over the years, but there's a low bar. There's capacity there for Adams to go in and surprise, and because of the fixed mindset we've all got around what type of club Morecambe are, I think if Adams was to go in there and carry them up to the middle of the table, that in itself would be seen as a fantastic achievement, and would further his prospects, his long-term career prospects, to have been associated with that development. But I do think Morecambe as a team have been lost for ideas lately, so I think there's potential there for Adams to make a reasonably quick impact in terms of because he's one thing that's clear about him, that has become clear over the years he was at Plymouth, was that his work ethic is insatiable. He's very much on the training ground every single day, working round the clock. Double training sessions are not uncommon when he's first trying to get his ideas across at a club. And players speak very well about him as a tactician, and in terms of improving their game and their awareness of the tactical side of the game and the part they have to play in it. So he very much works, with his players in that regard. And I think Morecambe need those ideas at the moment. They need some football direction, as opposed, I think they need some fresh ideas and more technical kind of guidance in the way to approach games. I think under Bentley was very much built a connection with his players, and there was a culture that he fostered over so many years. But I don't always necessarily think from one game to the next that there was a huge leap in terms of there was no real edge on the tactical side of things, and I just think that Adams can add something extra in that regard. I think that basically it doesn't bother him being in an outpost and having his hands tied with recruitment and things like that. But there are players to work with. There is Bentley talked in the last 12 months. Bentley has talked about the fact that he's had more resources than ever before in terms of numbers, in terms of the depth of the squad, the ability to change games with substitutions. These were all novelties to Bentley in this calendar year. Not something he's ever had the luxury of before. But now it's there, and I would imagine that a manager like Derek Adams, who can see players as individual parts who all bring different skills to the party to open up defences, or however he might want to approach one particular game to the next, he can take those individual parts and use the components for any given day, any particular game. So I just think we're going to have a completely. It's going to be an overhaul of how we see Morecambe as a team now. That the profile we have as Morecambe on the football side. I think we're in for quite a few surprises, and also off the pitch as well could be interesting. Adams has this incredible way. He's quite a strange character. He's a teetotaler. He's a religious man, Not the orthodox, template of football manager you come to expect. He doesn't swear. He's very, very adamant about the fact that he's done interviews with. There's a good interview with the Scotsman that's still available on the Scotsman website from when he was assistant manager at Hibernian, and it's like he almost chased the reporter out into the car park just to make it absolutely clear, you do know that I don't swear. And he's got these little quirks to his personality. I've never totally nailed down his personality type, but he's got these little quirks that are fascinating. And it also manifests in a way of rubbing opposition managers up the wrong way. He does see football as a spectacle, and it's a spectacle that should be played out in the media. And he sees himself as having a duty to, occasionally be competitive through the media in a way that might get opposition managers' backs up. And he does so regularly. He's probably the biggest wind-up merchant going, but in a real quiet way that he's not too outlandish. His words are outlandish, but his demeanour's not, and he does tend to get other managers annoyed. And he's quite keen on his one-upmanship when it comes to tactics and telling reporters after the game exactly how he dismantled the opposition, or almost in a way that some managers might regard as not in the spirit of the game, not quite ungentlemanly, but he's quite happy to reveal all after games and say exactly how he got the better of a certain opposition on a certain day. So fun times ahead. I think we've got surprises in store on the on the football level. I think Morecambe are going to be doing things a little bit differently now, and and might even make a few more headlines because of the things that Adams says and the rises he gets out of opposition managers through the media.